Okay, everybody, we are back. In this section, we are going to talk about setting up bank accounts in your system. So again, and this is also going to work for your credit cards. Same steps on these things. So again, when we talked about the type of accounts we should have in our earlier lessons, I recommended that you had an operating account for all your income and expenses coming in and out, a security deposit account to collect and hold your security deposits, and then potentially a credit card to pay for and track your expenses there. So if we go to our chart of accounts, you're going to see that already there are a few account set up. We have an operating account, a savings account, and then a credit card is a little bit different than a bank account, and it's actually a liability. So it's going to be down here at the 20100 credit card. So what we can do is use these existing accounts as part of our setup process. So in order to set up a bank account, you can either edit these or go in and set up a new one. For our purposes, we'll just edit here. So what I like to do is I like to use what type of account it is, but I also like to know where it's at. So for our purposes, just since everybody knows it, let's just use Bank of America. And I'm going to change that description to Bank of America operating account, BOA operating account. And then I'm just going to save and close. And you can see that updates very quickly. And you can do the same thing with your savings. In this example, I would probably call it a deposit account for security, or you can put a security deposit account if you want. And then on my credit card, whatever the name of your credit card is, some identifying deal that makes it very easy for you to tell what it is. Now, if you want to link these, you can link them right from this ledger account here. So you can go in and you can say connect bank. That's one way to do it. Now I'm going to back out of this screen and I'm going to go in a different way so you can see the other way to get to these areas. But I think it's important that you preset these chart of accounts up here, because what happens is when you actually link the account, you're going to need to link to one of these ledger accounts here. So we can go into banking and we can connect the account. We can also upload transactions too. So you can go online, you can download basically a CSV file from your bank for all the transactions that happen in the time frame, and you can upload here as opposed to connecting directly from your bank. And again, it also gives you an option to securely connect to your bank here as well, because they really want that feed, and I think it's a great resource. So what ends up happening here is you can select from their banks, you can look for their banks. So these are the major ones. You can type in some of the name of your bank and it should pull. I mean, it has, I don't think there's a modern bank out there that doesn't have some sort of connection, but if you do have an issue finding it, you can also use their website and you can type in their URL, and that will help link to the bank as well. But once you find your bank, what we're going to do here is we're going to select it, and then some disclosures here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to enter your username and your password. And each bank's a little bit different. But once you hit your online ID and your password, what happens is it's going to, and I don't want to go through this process in real time because obviously I don't want to give my information out, but it's going to start syncing with your bank account. There's going to be a screen and there's going to be that syncing motion back and forth. And then once it links to your account, a screen is going to pop up and it's going to ask you where you want to associate this with. And you're going to select your account from Bank of America on one side, and on the other side, you're going to have a drop down, and you're going to be able to link that chart of account that we just set up. So go back to that chart. So if you have a checking account that you're going to use for your rental receipts account with Bank of America, you would select this 10200 and you're going to link this ledger account with your bank account that you pulled the information in from the online service. Okay, so once that's all set up, this is what your banking tab is going to look like. It's going to be, your normal bank and rental receipts and so forth. But your first, under the banking tab here, it's going to have a card for each of the accounts that you set up. Because like I said before, you can set up credit cards as well, and it's the same exact process. Same area even. You go in, you find your credit card company username, it links it, you connect your chart of accounts ledger number to the online version of it, and then you're all set. So what happens is you can set this up automatically, or if it's out of date, you can come over and hit update, and it's going to start updating the account information. And then from there, it's going to bring transactions into this queue. Now, once they're in this queue, it doesn't mean that they are automatically entered into QuickBooks in terms of your accounts yet. This is a review type area. So what you do is you look at these transactions, and it gives you the chance to categorize them. So right here we have a payment, and I already had this entered into the system. So when you have an expense entered into the system and a downloaded transaction matches it, it's going to say one record found. If it is, you've already set this up right, so all you have to do is click the match, and that's going to make that go away. Now, over here, when there is an example of a transaction that's been downloaded from one of those accounts that there is not a match yet, which means you haven't entered it into the system, or it hasn't made the connection, which is rare, but does happen from time to time. It gives you the opportunity to go in here and just create the transaction as it is. So, if you know what this is, you can put the payee in here. Let's see, I don't know what that is, but we're just going to use them as a payee. The category, which is going to be that ledger number. This is a PayPal credit payment is what it looks like. We sent this to PayPal for a payment. So for me, this is going to go to my PayPal credit card account. But if it was a separate type of expense, you can go down here and you can find the expense and you can link it to the expense there as well. Actually, it's back up here. So if it's an office supply, then I can put office supply. If there was if you wanted to associate this with your property, so you're going to see where we use customers and classes here in a little bit, and you would put the property address here to link it to that property address, and then what it is. You can give a description of what it is, and then you can hit add. And then once you hit add, it will clear it from this queue. There should be nothing left here, and it is now in QuickBooks. And then you can go in here, and the categorize is everything that's already been categorized and added to QuickBooks. If there's a transaction for some reason that has to be excluded and you don't want to add to QuickBooks, those will be listed here, and that usually comes with those transfer confusions. But that's it. That's a quick and easy way to get information in. And what this does is it makes sure that you do not miss any of your transactions. And then it makes reconciliation at month end extremely easy because all these transactions are in. They're already downloaded from your bank account. You've already classified them. You've verified that they're actually there. So the reconciliation process is extremely quick and easy.